What's up, friends? Sorry about the clicking. I'm at home, and like we all probably are, this is my boy. His tongue hangs out of the side of his face because he's missing some teeth, right? Good boy. So we're all at home, presumably. Weird times. I am going to chat some thoughts. We'll maybe take a couple of questions. We're going to talk a bit about martial arts, but talk about learning, how we're going to learn right now, what we're going to learn, um, what we can do here. So I didn't have anything specific planned outside of this. Well, a few things. A few things I want to express in hopes that it's of value to you somehow. One is please stay home. Um, I think we all are. You're probably watching this from home. And while you're home, why are we home? We're home because we're trying to protect ourselves, but more importantly, other people. Uh, Hope all is well. Thank you, UFC Buffalo. We're trying to protect other people, old people, weak people. You know, it's important, right? I think we all kind of know it's important. Um, while we're at home, please get exercise. I've actually been getting a lot of exercise. My neck is thinner. We've been trying to exercise every day. It helps a great deal. There's a few key things right now. Again, we're going to talk about some fights and martial arts stuff and learning via training martial arts too. But you got to get some exercise. There's a couple of key things right now: is your health, being healthy, but also mental health, which is having an optimistic mindset, being in good spirits is a simple way to put it. Quadrex says Pluto. Yes, here's Pluto. He's a good boy. He's getting old. It's getting old. So you want to be in good health and in good spirits. So exercise. Mornings seem to be great for me. We get up, we eat something tiny, and then there's fucking online yoga everywhere. I'm trying to do. You see, John Jones got arrested again. I did not see that. I did not see that. I don't know if that's so or where that's so, but that kind of drama and stuff is outside of my expertise. I'm always trying to learn something. I mean, there's stuff to be learned from there too, I guess, but you got to speculate a lot when people are in trouble, what they did or didn't do, and a lot of that is guessing and projecting what we think. But you must stay in good health and you must stay in good spirits. Exercise is going to be key to that. Free online yoga, stand there, do some shit, move around. You can go for a run if you're in a place that's not super populated. I'm doing Muay Thai and boxing in the evenings. My buddy, Crew Joe Tipping Marchand, is doing online training, but there's fucking online training everywhere. I saw Matt Serra teaching jujitsu the other day. I think it was on his Instagram. You can see the best, train with the best people in the world. This is another thought I'm just going to leave you with before we start thinking about other stuff. Let's say we're here for a couple of months. That is possible. This is, I think, a really powerful and important mindset. We can leave this better than we came to it. Okay? Think about that with me. 2 months from now, you can go back into the world as it's happening again better than you left it, if you consider this sort of leaving that world that we know. How do you do that? You do that by training and learning. You go online. Is there anything that your job is? You may have lost your job. Many of us did. All my commentary jobs ceased to exist. There is no commentary right now. Any of my live work like that ceased to exist. Um, you're holding your toilet paper tight. You are not my toilet paper. This is my buddy. And I go on TV and talk on Sports Center in Canada. There is no Sports Center right now. That's shut down. So I am very fortunate. I'm still a big part of the Bellator family. And I'm so thankful for, this is our first fight talk. The last connection I had to live fighting was Bellator 241. Let me tell you my story. We were at the Mohegan Sun Casino, and it was Thursday, and this was all really starting to happen on the Wednesday and the Thursday. Fights were Friday night that weekend. And it's starting, things are shutting down. My wife works in theater. Her show was canceled. On the same day, all of Broadway shut down. Then the NFL shut down. I think it was the NFL. NBA, March Madness, all shutting down. So Scott Coker, and there's a lot of leadership over there. There's Scott Coker. There's Mike Cogan. Some of you may know him through maybe his connection with the Diaz brothers and many other things. A brilliant, brilliant cat. A really fascinating and interesting cat. I really like him. Rich Chow, who's the matchmaker at Bellator, who is just a wonderful, wonderful dude. He's very much, whether he knows it or not, he's very much just lives the life of a martial artist. And my Jordan, who is Jordan Plistico, who is running much or most of or all of the digital, who I work with. So all of these people get together and they're like, okay, what shall we do? And it's just starting to happen. And they say, okay, we're going to do the show with no crowd, no press, just a skeleton crew. And I was part of that crew and I was pumped to do it. This is all happening. Same time, we were starting to get a little bit, hope you do a breakdown of Khabib versus Ferguson. There is one I did in the past. You go to YouTube after this and you put in Robin Black, Tony Ferguson, Khabib, you will find it. Right now, the UFC doesn't allow people to use their footage. That could change right now. That could change literally right now. Who knows? I was very excited to be part of the show, but it was also all this stuff was happening. This is 2 weeks ago now. My wife's show gets canceled. That's all happening. A lot of things in the news. It's really going on. My wife and other people's families were concerned, right? So Coker is out, and he's busy. Like he's running a thing and he does a fucking brilliant job. Everyone loves him. Everybody loves him. Every fighter, every piece of stuff. He's now out and around and he sits down with me and then other people. How are your families doing? How are you guys doing? Just, you can see this as a real, I've only been working there proper for 3 months and you can see how legit this is. Like, I didn't realize how the perfect fit this was going to be for me to work with these people. I love them. I fucking love them. I love the fighters. I love the show. This is where I belong, right? I didn't know it a few years ago. I was moving down a different path. I didn't know exactly that this is where I belong. So Coco's direct with everybody, chatting and all the other leadership, and they're all kind of taking care of everybody. And my wife's stressed out. I can hear it in her voice and other people. So I decide to leave Connecticut on the Saturday. My flights were later in the day, multiple flights because of the nature of the Mohegan Sun. You must drive to Hartford, then fly there's no direct or almost no directs to Toronto, fly from Hartford to like South Carolina, then a layover, and then fly home. And I start thinking, what if a flight gets canceled? Or what if I take one flight and in the middle of it, the other one gets canceled? What if I have to be quarantined? All of these things are happening. Every single staff member is concerned. Bellator leadership is doing a fucking killer job, making people know, hey, by all means, if you got to go home, go home. We'll take care of it. But we're all in it together. And then the day of the Friday, there's rumors and stuff on the news, and everyone's a little concerned about media about flights being shut down, and everything is kind of all of a sudden being shut, and there's a snowball of that. And amidst all of that, Scott and others looking at, should we shut this thing down? They're not concerned with how much money is being made or lost, any of this. It's like, what is the right thing to do for these people and their families? That's when I'm like, fuck. I already loved working in this place from day one. We started doing killer cool work. We started doing creative stuff. I was being encouraged to do the stuff that I love, encouraged to innovate, which is what I'm all about. And now you're around these guys who are just like, what's best for our people, the fighters, the audience, whatever. No other concern. Then they're like, yeah, let's shut it down. Instantly, lets everybody know you're all getting paid. Everybody. Fucking full payment to fighters. Some of them like win bonus and deposit and whatever. A lot of them everybody got what they were promised, and a lot got even more. All the staff, the cut men and the lighting guys, everybody, you're all paid. And it was really, and that second, I was like, okay, well, and they all were flying the next day. I'm in Canada. I was only an 8.5 hour drive home, and my wife's like, come home. And I was concerned for her parents, for my parents, because this was all happening so quickly. So I fucking got in a car and I booked it home. I'm glad I got home and I'm glad everything is good, but I'm a little sad that I wasn't there because there was 20, 30 of the key staff there. And it sounds like they were all very close, really watched out for each other, really took care of each other. A lot of them probably got very drunk. A bit of the casino kept one or two of the restaurants open, and they all took care of each other and everyone went home. And then now, so I guess I'm just telling you my own perspective. I'm one guy. This is my perspective. So now we get home and we're like, our job now, there aren't fights right now. So what is our job? I think this is valuable for a lot of people. A lot of the time, we think your job is you commentate a fight, or you analyze fighting, or you promote fighting, or you fight, or whatever as part of that circus and the entertainment that is. I think my wife is coming in here. No, she ran away. She's like that little kid that's like that comes in when the news. Did you see that? Somebody's doing a live stream and they're like throwing their kid out and they're like trying, and then the woman sneaks in to like pull up the housekeeper. All I'm thinking is you should just let the kid come in. In today's place, we all think all that kind of shit is funny and charming and cool and interesting. Eric, I was telling him, I made the reference to the little kid in her stroller, and then it's this is life, right? We're living our lives, and I think now more than ever, that's what we're doing. If you turn somebody on right now and they start using newscaster voice, well, I'm here with my friend, and hey, so what's going on with? As soon as you hear that, you're like, those aren't people. That's a character that's long gone in the world that we live in. I hope I get to commentate fights again in the next 5 or 6 months. I can say this now. I won't say the network, but I was in right like just I was essentially we had to come to an agreement. I was going to commentate for a television network a bunch of Olympic fighting sports, taekwondo, karate, and boxing for the Olympics. For about that, right? Commentary is what I love to do. Um, but of course, that is not. Somebody said wicked. Thank you, Rector. But the Olympics, I believe, are canceled or put off for at least a year. So that is not happening. Of course, I was excited about that. I also commentate Eris, which is a fighting show in Europe and Africa. I just got an email from the boss, another great team, and they even canceled the August show in South Africa. So because of what's happening over there. So I hope I commentate again one day. But when I do, that's how I think in 2020, that's what we do. We don't play the role of some ancient television broadcaster. We go to the root of what it is we do. And that was my original point. The root of what my job or my passion or what I like to do. He'll get the Olympics in a year's time. I think the deal is done. So I think if it happens, I will be doing that. Thank you, though. At the root of it, what do you do? My job is to, when there's fights, is to enrich the experience for the viewer. Now, at the root of martial arts, there is genius in there. There are brilliant moments. There's inspiration. There's knowledge to be learned. There's philosophical choices. There's strategy. All of these things in these moments that can be applied to real life, through learning the lessons of them. That's real life. That's what I do. I don't play the role of a television sports commentator when I do that. I enrich the experience. And it's a different thing. You go to the root of the job. The root of the job is enrich the experience for the viewer. The job became an imitation-based job of play the role of sports broadcaster. That role probably is dead now. I hope it's dead because it is an imitation of decades-old stuff that isn't relevant anymore. Back to the way we behave, TV and everybody streaming everywhere. If you go back and have this artificially formulaic, overly formal way of presenting fighting or music or martial arts or sports of any kind or news or politics, it's fake, right? That's a person playing a role that is not them. Therefore, their credibility is kind of fucked, right? So that's how I viewed commentary. There is no commentary for me right now. That's how I view analysis. My job will be to look back and find these Bellator moments and see what we can learn from it. Peel them back, and instead of just tell the story of what happened then, look for the philosophical and strategic and learning nuggets and share those. So that's what I hope to do. I'm going to continue to chat with my boss at Bellator and the creative team and try to find ways to do that. And then whether it's Bellator or the NBA or fucking anybody, what do you do right now? We promote fights. Well, there are no fights. So what do you do? Well, we entertain people. We teach people. We inspire people. We make people laugh. We make them learn something. We make them, we help them. That's what we do. I'm an entertainer. My job entertaining happens to be in the study of martial arts. I can study martial arts. There's fucking tens of thousands of fights I can study. So that's still there. I can share those in hopes that somebody's experience watching them, that there's there's something in it for them, that they learn something, or they are inspired, or they laugh, or they, so all of that is there, right? That's our job. So whatever it is you do, you go back to the root of what you do. And if the root of what you do is, I'm an automaton, and this is not a criticism. We've all had to take jobs that for many feeding ourselves and housing ourselves. But if your job was, I was an automaton that fills one role, I'm a cog in a machine, this might be the time where, although you might lose this job and it's going to be very challenging, that when you come out of this, back to my original point, when you come out of this, hey, Robin, it's Jody, just starting training in the kitchen. Good to see you online while we can train. Hey, Jody the Beast, Team Beast, my young friend, Jody the Beast. You can follow her on Instagram. We're training in our homes, and we're learning, and we want to come out of this better than we went in. So you want to be healthier when you come out of this, if possible. You're going to eat as well as your availability will allow, and your resources will allow. But you got to eat as good as you can. You're going to exercise. You're going to go in and you're going to exercise. How about training your brain to critically think? Yes, Aura Glassworks. Yes, we're going to learn how to think properly. We've been distracted and influenced mainly by news and television to think in terms of, what's this? No, it's this. The world is not black and white. Everything isn't in conflict between two ideas. There's thousands of ideas. Things are gray. There are ideas in between these ideas. Also, this is a big one. I talk about it a lot. Resist the urge to form an opinion quickly, right? When I say that, sometimes people say, I have a right to an opinion. Of course you do, but beware. It is a trap. If you form an opinion quickly, hello from Russia, love your work. Thanks, John. John Gotti, I've actually commentated John Gotti the third's fights. I'm sure he was getting ready to fight in Bellator or the UFC or one or somewhere. Great young fighter. Shout out to John Gotti 3, as well as my friend John Gotti from Russia. But resist the urge to form an opinion or jump to a conclusion because there's a trap. Think about it this way. Whatever information you have on this cup of coffee, you have 1%, 0.1%, almost zero. No one martial art is superior to the other. James will touch on that in a second. You have almost no information. Whatever you know about coffee, it is less than 1% of all things that is available to be known. If that's the case, why would you have a strong opinion? You don't know anything. We can say the same thing about the government. We can say the same thing about CNN, the UFC, my dog, anything. We don't know. We're missing most of the information. So we do not need to form an opinion. In fact, if you do form an opinion, you are harming yourself. How can you master art? You master art through repetition, deliberate practice, like all things, deliberate practice, and constant, tiny, incremental bits of improvement. And you search for mastery over a lifetime. Hey, Robin, you only have to give one advice for life. What would it be? Thank you for everything. You're such a grateful being. Oh man, thank you. That's so kind. One piece of advice is the one thing I think is the most important. There's a book called The One Thing. I really like it. The author signed it for me because I mentioned it in a podcast once, and he sent it to me because I read it. It's my friend David Mullins recommended I read it. But the one thing that I think is the most important root is the idea of a growth mindset. There are two basic types of mindset: a fixed mindset, and that mindset says, I am what I am. I am as strong as I'm gonna be. I'm as smart as I am, and that's all that I am. That's what I am. A growth mindset says, wherever I deploy or apply effort, I will grow. So a growth mindset says, I am what I am today. I am what I am today. What I will be tomorrow will be improved based on all the effort I put in, and the effort is worthwhile, and I will grow. That's that mindset, to continually go back to it and make it real, so that you can learn things, you can improve things. That's important. So much rhetoric, in the world. There is weapons and open container. Thanks. Like and share. Hey, thanks. Thanks for the chat, Robin. Have a good one. Thank you, Christopher. Well, 20 minutes, just a thought. I'm gonna try, if this is good. If you sat here till 20, hey, Robin, you're the man. Thoughts on 249 happening? I don't know. Sounds like, listen, I know Dana a little bit. I've got to know him over the years. His greatest strengths are his drive and his passion and his fucking fearlessness. So if he's decided it's going to happen, that's the guy who makes things happen. Should it happen? Do you think it should happen? Those are all different conversations. But do I think it will happen based on what I know about that man? From my experience of seeing and studying him, studying martial arts is studying this sporting league, and that's studying that man. I think that man will make that thing happen. Well, I think, oh, wait, there's some. Please, if you've sat here till the end, put a note in the comments if you think I should do this every day. If you think I should do this every day, I'd say 5 days a week. I will come on for 20 minutes every single day because we got the time, right? Love all your work. Shout out from the UK. Stay safe, mate. Same to you, Brady. Drug suspensions being counted during this time. Your thoughts? I don't know, man. That's a weird one. Very specific. Again, that's an opinion-based thing, and I don't care about my own opinion. I really mean that. I'm trying to literally form almost no opinions and look only for facts and truths, and that one's complicated, so I don't know. How long would the virus last inside Francis Ngannou? I give it a few hours. They would have to isolate the virus from Francis. 100% agree. Francis versus the virus, 10-second breakdown, bink, Francis wins. You should do it every day if you can. I loved it. Thank you, man. That means a lot to me. But please, these notes are great, but leave them in the notes after the piece, just so I know. And if people think this is worthwhile for real, I will do one 20 minutes each day. The more you know, the more you know, the more you know. The more you know, the more you know that you don't know. But if we've lost touch with one instinct, it's that the most important thing to be in touch with critical thought. This is good stuff. Aura. Definitely do it every day. He's like the neighbor you would talk to about the world. Thanks, man. That's really kind. Hello, brother. Winnipeg is calling for you, bro. I love Winnipeg. All right, you guys take care of each other. Please, I'm going to say this every day. Get some exercise. Go online. Learn something. Anything. You can learn to edit video. That's going to be really useful in when you come out of this place. Try to eat the best you can based on your resources and what your availability. Bringing Tony to ankle pick the virus. I got a couple more comments to touch on. Keep coming. Love your work. Listening from Southwest Florida. Much love to all you guys. Food, exercise, sleep, and stay connected. That's why I'm doing this too, so I can stay connected to you guys and force me to think. I'll try some book recommendations over the next couple of days. We'll add that every day. I'm gonna try to find one book to be able to bring in. I'll make that note right now. Much love, you guys. Really appreciate you. Please, if you've enjoyed this hang, I'm going to chat with Douglas Lima today. Douglas Lima, one of the great fighters in the world and great human being. I'm going to chat with Douglas Lima on the Bellator Instagram Live. So go to Bellator Instagram, click on the live thing at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Thursday. Then on Friday at 7 p.m. Eastern Time, McFly just said, dude, what time? Bellator Instagram Live, 3 p.m. Eastern Time. Today is Thursday. If you're watching us another day, then congratulations. It's the future. 3 p.m. Eastern Time, noon West Coast time. On Friday, I will talk with Beck Rollins. She'll be in Australia. It'll be morning for her. It'll be Saturday morning for her. I'll chat with her on Friday. And people are texting me. That's really nice. Nice to know someone's thinking of me. Thank you guys so much. Really. I sit right here every day with you, 5 days a week. We'll get a book tomorrow and we'll talk about it. Much love. Blackout.